Today I take you in Boulder, Colorado. Virtually speaking, I'm not going there. By the way, I spent several times in US working for semiconductors companies and was good times. And today we are going to review the Stellar Phono. And actually was in my top 3 list of phono stage to purchase when I was looking for an high-end phono stage for my reference setup. At the time there was not the possibility to test the Stellar Phono, and I end up to purchase the Parasound, the great Parasound JC3 Plus review available in description. And in this review I will speak also about comparing these two with the Stellar Phono, so let's do it. Stellar Phono was born as electronic that use only discrete components on the signal pad. The designer Darren Myers, that now actually working for Parasounds, claims that measures are not always directly correlated to listening impressions. So an hi-fi classic debate that will never end up, right? That means you can obtain perfect results in terms of transparency and measures, so very low distortions, with a sound that could result to be overexposed. More inclined to analyze a recording rather than enjoy it. At least this was the philosophy of the engineer of PS Audio, Darren Myers. Stellar Phono is really built like a tank. And the first times that I took it in my hand, actually I was really surprised how heavy it is. It's designed to operate with both moving magnet and moving coil cartridges through separate single-end RCA inputs. Nice if you have, for example, 2 turntables or turntables with 2 tone arms, and just with one click you can switch between them. Something unusual provided with a phono stage. I never saw it in all phono stage that I test, something that I was really looking for, and I will speak about it later. I love the design, it's really stylish, with this sort of frame shell where the main structure is enclosed, letting a cut space in which blue LED are indicating all phono settings. On the opposite sides we have the PS Audio sine wave logo operating as power switch also, that lights up blue during operations. On the bottom we have 4 rubber feet that are giving a great stability thanks also to the heavy chassis. I was testing the Stellar Phono with my Pro-Ject RPM9 that I actually just upgraded with a Newton arm, the CA Premium, fitted with the great HANA ML. Check the review. Actually I didn't notice how important it is to have a matched tone arm to your cartridges. You can purchase any expensive cartridges, but if you don't have the right tone arm, is a waste of money and time. And I test also the Stellar Phono with another cartridges, that is the Sumiko Blue Point Reloaded. I really love it with the standard, no, not the premium, the standard tone arm of the RPM9. I would like to test also the moving magnet sections. Unfortunately I didn't do it. I don't have any high-end moving magnet cartridges. I wish to have, for example, the 2M black from Orthophone. I have only the blue, and I'm not sure how, if it may make sense to spend so much money just for the blue M cartridges and entry-level turntables that I have here at home. So I hope in the future to get such an high-end moving magnet cartridges to complete also this type of review. Once you connect everything, PS Audio logo on the front will glow blue when the unit is powered on, ready for use. And interesting, when you power on for the first time from the main switch that is on the back of the Stellar Phono, you will get always loaded the factory default settings, so moving magnet input, low gain and 47 kΩ loading. So it's better to letting your Stellar Phono always on or standby. At least don't switch it off from the main switch on the back. and they call it idle mode. It's a sort of standby, let's say like that. In this way, we'll retain your main settings. With the Stellar Phono, that will just deactivate the output relay. So basically, it is on. And you notice it also because the surface is pretty warm. And I also measure some power consumptions of 25 watt in this modality. So not really eco-friendly, but for sure will sound better, because I also noticed that after 1 hour that is turn it on, it needs this warm up time at least of 30 minutes, 1 hour to really give the best. So I basically let it in these idle mode configurations all the time. Jumping on first test, so Sumiko Bluepoint 3 low with the RPM 9s fitted with the basic tone arm. I set the Stellar Phono with a MC loading of 100 ohm. That's what specs of the Sumiko are saying. And immediately sounds a little bit muffled, especially on vocals. Not really interesting and lively on instruments, you know what I mean? And here is where I discovered how unique and beautiful is the remote control in helping you to achieve a better results. So just chilling on my couch, I hit the 200 ohm settings and all sounds with one click absolutely fantastic. And I love to do this. I love that I don't have to stand up, going like the JC3 Plus behind, change the potentiometer for left and right. Just one click. Wow, that's really amazing. And it's different because you can listen immediately how the sounds is different because you are always in your position. Really a next level that I didn't saw in any Phono preamp. Imaging was again lively and open, all was engaging, without sounds, never too thin or clinic. Stellar Phono combined great detailed retrieval, thanks also to the almost pitch black background, second only to the JC3 Plus probably. All this with a pleasing and overall warmth that worked well with all music genre. Listening for example Bill Evans, Riverside, recordings 45 RPM. We did an unboxing of this big box I purchased it from US, and from US to Europe, you will have to spend some extra money. Something, it was something around 200, 300 bucks. So I was not happy about it. But it's like that, unfortunately, if you live in Europe. And here I appreciate the upper keyboard's notes, dynamic and attack. Pungent, but sweet at the same times. I played Everybody Dix, Bill Evans, and probably not one of the best recordings. As far as I know, the master tape was not in perfect condition, but Stellar Phono did an impressive work in reassembling and highlight the soundstage and the performance. Jumping on a classic album, Steely Dan, Asia, I wanted actually to purchase the UHQR, but was pretty expensive, 150 bucks if I'm not wrong, and I found this Bernie Grandman remaster from analog tape on 180 gram vinyl. And to be honest, for 30 bucks is absolutely fantastic. Let me know what you think about it in the comment below. Incredibly good quality the sound was pretty warm and rich, very clean on the bottom end. Drums comes out with weight but incredibly defined and with a great delicacy on cymbals that were very natural, with one of the best textures on the decay of the cymbals as I never heard before. Beautiful. And if we take Asia at the end, when Steve Gadd is doing a best solo performance, was the dynamic, the authority, the power that was coming out from the Stellar Phono was incredibly high end performance. An explosion of feeling and power and dynamic. Beautiful. And here we have the first comparisons with the JC3 Plus. Of course, I compare all my records with the JC3 Plus But here I noticed that on the JC3 Plus, the soundstage probably was a little bit bigger, with guitar instruments coming out with more vibe rather than warm and smooth, and especially when shorter on sax, sounds a little bit more grainy and grooving, rather than relaxed and harmonically rich. Two different tonalities, especially on brass instruments, something that I really noticed on comparing Stellar Phono with the JC3 Plus. With the JC3 Plus, probably a little bit more realistic, where the Stellar Phono, I will describe it as cinematic, probably is the right word. Something that I noticed also by spinning Van Halen, also mastered from analog tapes at Bernie Grandman Studios. I got great rhythm, solid bass, always clean, neutral, but deep, with a top end a little bit on the bright and open side, with electric guitar enveloping as probably should be. And here compared with the Parasound JC3 Plus that deliver a more direct and tough, definitely a more cold presentation, rather than something more colored and smooth of the Stellar Phono. And this was before to upgrade the tone arm of the Pro-Ject RPM9, where I choose in the end the CA Premium fitted with the HANA ML. And if you watch my review about it, I prefer this type of tone arm compared to the standard one for the bottom end, and on the top end also I prefer it compared to the AS Premium tone arm. And just check my review, it's really interesting. So I moved to this sort of high-end configuration, playing this fantastic record of Elvis. I love Elvis, If I Can Dream. Also here, not really expensive, $30 to LP. Actually, I didn't know nothing about this record, and watching Priscilla Presley interview.
So you've got an album here, there's an album out, which is called If I Can Dream, and this is Elvis singing. Obviously it's not new recordings, it's Elvis recordings from yesteryear, but they've been set on backed by an actual full orchestra.
The Royal Philharmonic Orchestra.
For the first time ever, this is his voice with the full orchestra?
Yes, full orchestra.
And is this something he would have done, do you think, or would have wanted to do if he had lived?
Absolutely, absolutely, this is what he wanted to do.
It convinced me to purchase it, and wow, it's fantastic, great quality, sounds really beautiful. And here, interesting that despite having such a timbre structure, so magic and cinematic, Stellar Phono does not prevent from having a realistic and natural acoustic instruments, especially violins were unforgettable. All orchestra sounds really big and beautiful, with Elvis' voice deep, firm and airy. And it's interesting how instruments on, especially brass instruments, as I told you, sounds a little bit different on Stellar Phono, more cinematic, but timbre on voices, I didn't notice that. It sounds, all of them, really realistic. Also, all orchestra instruments were credible, natural, with all small ones rendered faithfully. Also Stanley Clarke bass string on Journey, beautiful record that I purchased actually secondhand. Bass string was located perfectly in the center, inside the huge, deep and wide soundstage. Highly detailed, with heavy strings and harmonically rich. Drums was able to fill all the room, really big, beautiful. A truly remarkable and well-structured scene. Wow, so dynamically really impressed me. Extensions in low end, details and textures on top end, absolutely incredibly good. Mid-range, it could sound on some instruments a little bit different compared to the other phono stage, so more cinematic and harmonically rich, but with a great density on mid-range, beautiful. So let's move to comparisons. There is no doubt that Stellar Phono is a top player. And if we have to speak about comparisons, it will be, of course, with the JC3 Plus and Gold Note PH10 plus PSU10, that is the external power supply. At least these are the best phono stage that I had here at Meda Audio. And let's take the PH10 phono stage alone. Is a phono stage that I really love it, and it's really versatile. It will give you a lot of a beautiful display and you can play with a lot of settings from it. So despite not having a remote control as the Stellar Phono is still really versatile. But Stellar Phono is far superior in technical performance when it comes to extensions, authority and dynamic. And the only way to take the PH10 at this level of technicality is to add the PSU10. Problem by adding the PSU10, when I review it, also will let it in descriptions, I noticed it that it's become too much direct and probably a little bit aggressive, especially on attack and dynamic. And you may like it or not, I found that yes, a little bit aggressive. Moving to the JC3 Plus is another story. I don't find the Stellar Phono more technical than the JC3 Plus. I think we are there. For sure the Stellar Phono is more versatile with the remote control and all the settings that is giving you, because the phono stage of Parasound, the JC3 Plus, that also I love it, is really basic. Sound quality speaking, JC3 Plus is in my opinion a phono stage probably less forgiving than the Stellar Phono. For sure more neutral, a phono that doesn't add anything extra, never too subtle. Actually both can sometimes seem a bit uncompromising with old or unbalanced damaged recordings, but JC3 Plus more than Stellar Phono in my opinions. And for example, spinning one of my favorite recordings from Wynton Marsalis, Standard Time, I really wish they do a remaster of this record, because I also found it secondhand, and guys, there are so many beautiful records out there and I really would like that to see them again, hopefully done from the right company, because there are out there in US someone that are doing great vinyl. By the way, comparing for example the trumpet on these records between Stellar Phono and JC3 Plus, on Stellar Phono was more airy and sweet, but when I switch back to the JC3 Plus I hear this sizzling that for some reason was a little bit lacking on the Stellar Phono. Definitely too sweet and smooth on the Stellar. The Stellar tonal richness is a pleasure to listen, but I can understand if someone of you will find the JC3 Plus a little bit more realistic in tonality, especially on midrange. So less cinematic, but definitely more realistic. So in the end, I really love to call it cinematic phono stage. I mean, it's a word that really can describe how the Stellar Phono is unique and magic. Was able to draw a vivid, full of life and colorful pictures regardless of the records. A real high-end preamp. Perfect partner for those like to experiment, for example, with different cartridges, setups and solutions, thanks to the unique remote control and a fully customizable settings profile. Actually, I never saw anything like that on the market, at least on this price range. It really offers a lot of features for the money. PS audio, well done. And that's it. This was my review of the Stellar Phono. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please let me know what you think about it, if you have it, if you compare it with other phono stage, and like always, take in consideration to subscribe and hit the like buttons to support my work. See you soon.